The brave history of 21st century. The brave history of 21st century. And what is our topic? Biafran century. Synonymous of might. Eh? The synonymous of might. Then, and the mythography. It may sound strange to your ear, but Mazen Namdekano said we should go back to book. If you come here, you join us as we continue. Let's hear our Umuada and their determination.
Honorable Queen Mother, I am very, very grateful for this opportunity. I thank you for what you are doing, for your sacrifices, and for organizing us, the women, to stand by our vow to restore Biafra. I also thank our Prime Minister, His Most Honorable Mazi Simon Ekpa, person that have sacrificed his youthful age, his comfort, give up everything to rescue us, our children. And we are very, very grateful and we thank him. And we say, may the glory of Chukwu Kikabiam and may the light of heaven always surround him and all of you that are working to restore Biafra. We commit our leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the Most High. Lord God that started him on this journey will see him through. They are holding our jewel, but because our jewel is made by God, man did not make this jewel. So we collect our jewel back. On that note, I thank the family for standing up and realizing that somebody who is compromised cannot be looking for justice because it's two opposite things. You have to be clean, you have to be honest, you have to be ethical. Then when you stand in court and argue, people will respect you. You cannot eat both sides. You take from the enemy and you take from us. And you say you are representing Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. It is very shameful. And I'm very, very thankful that the family has stood up. And may God continue to uplift our leaders' family and tune their mind to the right direction so that they will walk with what.
Yes, Biafrans. You know, the way we do our own, we work hand in hand with you. Your comments are needed, very, very much needed. Today, we believe that the mystics and the chronology of the history of this universe is not real explained to our people. Elvera, thank you. Join me. Share this message and hit the like button so that others will be notified that we are here. And as we are here, many of you might know these people, the great brave history of 21st century. And from here, they say, what is a century? Because if you don't know the meaning of a century, it will be difficult for you to know what is really going on. Let me play fast forward a little this saboteurs in our midst here.
We have to bring our leader out, sharing our flyer in your various platforms. Remember, the reason we are looking for Biafra is huge. Now, look at how Nigeria is today. Yourself, if we don't, very, very rare, my people. So the earlier you guys remember that
join us.
We want to get Biafra.
We are
so
here
that
to dig
after we die, our children will live in peace. We're not gonna leave this fight for them.
Stories.
So please join.
Some untold stories is what we are here to bring out. Then, as we are heading back to centuries back. Then they ask here, what is a century? A century is its date and the time. That means what happened and when it happened. Its people, its event, its minds, and its cries. Then we come to deal specifically on the mites. And as we are dealing on the mites, it's because the mites is the thing that connects to anything you are doing in this universe. It doesn't matter how smart you may be, but if you didn't go back to the origin, you will not be able to know the fictions. What is a fiction and what is fantasy, what is facts, what is tele, what is delusion, what is figment, and what is immigration as well. All these things, all these packages are inside might. Then there are about 5 types of might: mythology, mythography, mythocriticism, mythos, and mythopia. This kind of thing may be sounding strange to our people, but no matter how strange it may sound, we will be bringing some things, untold stories, because if you go here, these are the people that set up history. And when you come inside this place, you will see the people that make up the story. You will see the Arabs, the white people, the caliphates, the Chade Gravenchi, then China Molestia, then Churchill. How many people know about Churchill from England? The person who massacred India, Churchill. Then you will also see Ciudadanos y Ciudadanos. Yeah, the people and of the people. Then you will see culture and the agriculture. Then you will see Dr. Giel. Then you will see discolonization. Then you will also see EU, West, River West. You will see Europe. You will see fascismo. Yeah, fake people. You will see Franco and the feminismo. The former king of Spain, called Franco, and the feminismo, Franquismo. Franco and the Franquismo. If you know about Franco, the Franco, former king of former president of Spain, and the Franquismo, the way they conquered Spain and they chased out Morocco when Morocco came to occupy Spanish land. You can get a better history in Alhambra Palace near a place called Granada. Then you will see fascismo, the kind of people. Then you will see a lot of you will see Hitler, you will see Israel, you will see Kennedy, John Kennedy, you will see Latin America, you see Lenin, and a lot of things that has happened in this universe. Then these are the people that make up the history of 21st century. And all our Umuadas that is here doing something are the same people making history as well. So as we are riding, I will appreciate it if you invite others so they will know that we are here. We listen from our Umuadas more.
I'm also calling on Igbo politicians who still think that they can steal money with the Fulani. The Fulani will give them little change, and as long as they're okay with their children, everything is fine. No, they're still an infidel. And as time goes on,
now, okay, William, Nnemeka, shalom, nwa Chineke, udo dịrị gị. Yes, write us comment. We like reading your comments. Then you hit the like button, share the message to other people. Now, when we are doing something, we like to go back to the original origin, the chronicle of this life, the chronology of this life. Then they say, what is a century? A century is a period of 100 years. Then you can count 1 century. And what is a date? A date is also an appointment which you can schedule with the people, time, and other things. Then what is people? People are made up of human being, group or assemblies by common interest. Then you come here, you will get government in exile. The government in exile, they ask you, what is government? Government is the exercise of political authority over the action, affair, and the etc. of a political unit. Then you come here, then you begin to see events. All these things are inside the chronology of might. Then you will see events and the other things we have come to show. As we are riding on, every other thing that is happening in this life has been written inside some books. You can also search them in the Bible. You can also search them in your Google. You can also get a lot of things. And when you come inside the synonymous of might, Joseph Bob, Joseph Bob, 555 Vision, you are doing great. Thank you. Thank you. If you write your comment, we will bring it out here so that the whole public, everybody will read. The synonymous of might. You know, might is something that connects to every other things. Your culture, your tradition, your everything. Then inside might, you will see legend. You will see fable. You will see tele, the one we are using now to give information. You will see the story of the people. Then you will also see the allegory. You will also see the fiction, and you also see the parables behind and all that is packed inside might. And what are we talking about fiction? Fiction is when you are reading this kind of things, normally they made it up to become the history of children. And from here, you will see why Chris Ayekinome is telling people, do not allow your children to watch cartoon. Do not allow your children to practice Halloween. Please, I have some international people here as well. But in front of Chris Ayekinome, Nigeria has been Islamized. Rose of Fable, thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. If you come here, you write your comment, we will bring your comment here. Biafra is already here. We believe you and we are working, because they say if you don't know what is happening to you, you will not know how to handle it. If you go inside cartoon, you know, they call it history of the children. But if you are a person that spend time with your children and they watch cartoon with them, try to figure out why children always pay attention in cartoon. Then that is where you will get fictions. And that is where you will get parables. And this parable you see that people are using today is a language of the Greek. Parable, ilu Igbo. This parable is language of the Greek. And from there, you will come to understand more of the functions of this life. And more of the functions of this life are inside the types of might you have. There are 4 basic of theories of might. I don't know if you know about might. Godwin Ezekiel, bro, it's like you are teaching. Yes, today is our teaching day. We are today is our teaching day, because if you don't understand how they use our brain, they say they will show us how to read and how to write, but they are not going to show us how to think. You understand? And Mazen Nnamdi Kanu say we should go back to book. When we go back to book, we will be able to know how to think and how to ask questions. Nna, patience, thank you for joining. There are 4 types of might. There are 4 basic theories of might. Those theories are the reaction might theory, the reaction might theory, the functional might theory, and the structural might theory, and the psychological might theory. And when you come inside this psychological might theory, you will come to understand where they mentioned something like might criticisms. And these might criticisms are the things disturbing our people. Then, inside our people, from this might criticism, that is the why we come, because a lot of our people are falling into the trap of might criticism. Amy Sonny, thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Then we want to focus on might. Amy Sonny, as you are joining, we want to focus on might, mythology, mythography, might criticism, mythos, mythopoesia. You know, when you come inside mythopoesia, and mythopoesia is what we are doing now, and the mythography is what we are doing now, but we want to get to the brains of the mythocriticisms. And when you come inside mythocriticisms, then you will see the kind of damages mythocriticisms are causing inside our lives. Mythocriticisms are causing a lot of things in our lives. Because while we are here, try to hit the like button. Hit the like button so that people will know that we are here. Mythocriticisms are this kind of people that like to, ndị Igbo na-asị iji iwe agbịshị gbuo ahụhụ. Yeah, the kind of people that used to judge a cat through the offense a dog has committed. You understand? And this is one of the strongest problem we are having when we are talking about IPOB, when we are talking about Biafran restoration, when we are talking about Nnamdi Kanu rendition, then our people are suffering deeply inside this sickness called mythocriticism. Mythocriticisms are looking for evil dogs or the heroic act, so that he or she can compare that animals as archetype to other evil dogs and the heroic acts found in other literary work. Why do we refer this? Why are we trying to treat these might criticisms? Might criticisms are the people who want to accuse you for something you have not done, who want to tell you that Simon Ekpa is enemy of Biafra, who want to make you believe that Simon Ekpa is working against Biafra, who want to make you believe that Simon Ekpa want to come and hijack Biafra. Then these people, our Umuada, have joined us to bring to the public. You know, these are inside my criticisms. And what we are just doing, as you are watching 555 Vision now, we are now taking part of mythography. And inside this mythography, you will see where they mentioned about mythos, termination from words of mouth. That is what they call mythos. Termination of words of mouth. You know, people can use the words that come out of their mouth to destroy other people's image. You know, they have done everything humanly possible to rendition Mazen Nnamdi Kanu and from Kenya and send him to Nigeria, which he is suffering up to today. You can get this thing inside mythos. You know, all the thing we are dealing on is called mythos, and the people who is partaking in this mythos are mythocriticisms. And these mythocriticisms, they like to terminate words of mouth and poison your mind for you to believe what they are telling you without you going through the psychological part of the theory. If you fail to go to the psychological part of the theory, then you will miss the structural part of the theory. When you miss the structural part of the theory, then you will not be able to get the functions of the theory. And from the functions of the theory, then all this theory will be messed up. Then you will go back to the beginning again, which we refer as the century. And write us some comments, please. Write us some comments, promote what we are doing, because if you see, we have a lot of papers solving some things, bringing out things our people will know, buying some books, so that whatever we teach, we will find it in some books. They crucified Jesus Christ because they say that Jesus Christ has no document covering him, healing the sick, raising the dead, and every other thing that has happened in the Bible. And for this reason, support what we are doing, share this message, like it, write us comments, tell us things that is inside you. And as we are riding on, we want to still hear
the recent events. We tell you that you are still an infidel. It doesn't matter how many bed sheets they used to wrap your head in Sokoto, you are still an infidel. And that's how you're going to be. So come and join us, support what we are doing. Because what we are doing is also for your children, it's for your safety. Your wealth is assured.
Our sister here, he says, you are an infidel. They have turned you up to an infidel. You have no value in front of them. Come up together. Let us move the mountain. Come up. Let us move the mountain, because Igbo people say, then, and why are we going deep? Trying to bring out some untold stories. Some untold stories, we know that they remove history out of Nigerian school curriculum. And when you want to connect yourself back to the chronology of the history of this planet Earth, and the reason they focus on demoting the power of our ancestors. If you are good in reading fictions, they call it cartoon, they call it children things. But if you pay attention, you will see that what they call fictions and the fantasies in Europe are what Mike Ejeagha called akụkọ ifo. We call it akụkọ Mike Ejeagha, just like a story that means nothing, things you don't need to value. But Europeans wrote their story, akụkọ ifo, to their own children, and they begin to show them the reason and when dragon existed in this life, when human being used to talk to animals, when elephant, the time of the big elephant of before, then they show their children so that when they are growing up, if they are growing up, they will not be carried away. But some of the documents we found shows us how they destroy the power of our ancestors. And in as much as we know that we are suffering, we begin to enter inside the fictions. And if you are watching cartoon with your children, paying attention on things that they are watching, which they in Nigeria they use people like Chris Ayekinome to remove your attention in things that is cartoon. Chris Ayekinome told his congregation, do not allow your children to be watching cartoon. And the cartoon, what is it telling them? The history of ancient animal and the history of ancient myths. Now, they spend time showing their children what happened in olden days, how they will know things that happened ancient time, centuries ago. They told them about Bible. They told them about the different things that has happened ancient time. That's why before you see Europeans, before they are growing up, all of them are well informed. Now, these are the people they called devil and the devils in Biafran land, you know. You don't need to know their history. And as we have consulted from some of the pastors, why are you not letting your children to get sense? They say it is just because it is not showing them, they are not preaching the Bible and the promotion of Jesus Christ. And right in front of them, then Nigeria has been Islamized. And in as much as Nigeria has been Islamized, we have no option to come out with the real history of the myths. The synonymous of myths are when you see the Fox News, Fox Tele, story, Fox story, legend, tele, fable, saga, allegory, parable, tradition, lore, flock lover, mythos, and mythos. Then, if you come to the part two of it, Obazuonu, thank you for joining. Then, if you come to this to the second part of it, you will see misconception. You will see the misconception. You will see fallacy. When you see fallacy, you know fallacy, then you will see mistaken beliefs. The people who believe under mistake. Then you will see false, you will see motions, you will see misbeliefs, you will see old waves, you will see tele, you will see fury, you will see story, you will see fairy tale, fairy tale, you know about fairy tale. You will see about fairy tale, you will see fictions, you will see fantasy, you will see delusion, you will see figments of the imaginations, the figments of the imaginations. And when you come and across these figments of imaginations, how these figments of imagination have dealt with our people, if you want to get it clear, then you will come to the myth criticism. Myth criticisms is what we are suffering today in Biafran land, because they are the people. Ndị Igbo na-asị mmadụ iji iwe agbụsị gbuo ahụhụ. Someone that has not done anything to you, you will come up and begin to frame up history against that person, trying to mobilize people to believe your lies, trying to impose command and control on them, trying to impose your own personal ideology, trying to tell them that political solution will give you Biafra. You know where we are, the area we are going. And inside might mystic, you can get the might criticisms. And after this might criticisms, you will also see mythopia. Inside the mythopia, you will also see mythology. From mythology, you will see the theory of the philosophical aspects of whatever that we are passing through. These pastors are wicked. They still never want people to know that Nigeria has been Islamized. Godwin, that is the truth. When people write this kind of thing, people who bring our thoughts out of them, we appreciate it so much. Because what we are really doing is to begin to correct the mistakes of our people. When you go and see one of our dates, they say, what is a century? A century is its date, things that happen when it happened, documentary. Europeans are good in documenting. Akachukwu, thank you for joining. Europeans are good in keeping documentary. Some of the books we show you here, when they begin to put things in drawing, and when they start to build camera, this wait and take camera, we are going towards our own chronological story. Then they say time, date, that is the origin of the century, time and the date when it happened, documentary part of it. Then its people, and there are different kind of people in inside this planet Earth. Then they call it its events that is happening. And you, which events are you into today? The event you are into today is the event of looking for your freedom. Are you getting it? This is the events and the stories behind what we are doing. Then they call it after events. Then inside the events, then you will get its might. The might is what we have just explained. The might and its cries. Now, inside the might, we have already read some things concerning the mights. Now we go to its cries. What are the cries of the mights inside the century we are into? Let us hear some of our
in Biafran. There will be rule of law, there will be accountability, there will be a security system to keep crime. Nigeria is rotting to the root, so there is no way your money or your life is safe in Nigeria. So support Biafra. That's the best thing to do. Okay, I want to also use this medium to thank the people that are in USA. The people that came out to interact with our Prime Minister and our Defense Secretary. I thank you guys, and if you are in USA and you're trying to join autopilot, remember we have a number.
Then, what we are now doing is what they call fable. The message we are bringing to you now is called fable. And the fable is found inside might. And the fable, what is the meaning of fable? Fable is a narrative intended to enforce a useful truth to people. Then, after you pass fable, then you come through tele, and the tele is what we are now. Through tele, we are presenting the story of might, century, and its people, the events, and every other thing. That is what we are now. And the message you have just heard from Omada now is what they called fable. And from this fable, you can connect it with this news now. Fundraising and supporting of ESN.
240-643-2842. 240-643-2842. Call that number to come in. We need you guys. Okay, let's talk about the sit at home. We are sitting at home because the sit at home is a winning formula.
What do you hear say? What do you hear her say? This is what she's doing. What Nnamdi Kanu started, what Ojukwu started, what Owazirike tried. I don't want to dispute Owazirike. The only thing remaining for Owazirike today, all our followers here, what we are imagining, the only thing remaining Owazirike to be legible again in this struggle is for him to recognize our prime minister and recognize him and tell him, you are doing a great job. Any day Owazirike say this thing, that is when our prime minister will tell you the positive part of Owazirike. Now, Ojukwu started this thing. Then we are reading now, going a little back of this chronology. Now, Ojukwu started this thing, Owazirike tried and he failed. Nnamdi Kanu pick it up. So this one you see us, you are supporting me, I am supporting you, is called fable. And what is fable? Fable is a narrative intended to enforce a useful truth inside people. That is what our Umada have just said, explaining how useful it is for you to know the importance of sit at home, the benefit that is behind sit at home. You know, that is called fable, forcing in a useful truth. And after this fable, you come to inside the might. You understand now? Inside might, then you come to tele. And the tele is usually imaginative narrative of an event. We are now in tele, and we are delivering the message from the fable, letting you know the activity of Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, what the chronology is talking about. Now, we are inside tele, telling you about the fable, and the fable is a narrative of enforcing a useful truth to people. As you are buying now this useful truth, now you are gaining energy on how to stand strong, to tell your neighbor that everything in this universe has been written, and we have been able to show you what we refer as the brave history of 21st century. Inside this history, if you go inside this book, your head will blow off, and you will do the same I'm doing more than I'm doing it, because maybe you have your PhD. A lot of people went to England, Canada, Australia to study, and they obtain PhD, but they cannot preach anything they learn in abroad through our own benefit, you know. But pastors, they preach under the benefit of their pocket and the benefit of Israelites, the Middle East. And our people that went to university and obtained PhD, many other things, they preach in the favor of the Fulanese. But we, autopiloted critical thinking IPOB members, what is our own? To bring the chronology of this very earth, which we call the centuries. We have shown you people under our people who is following us, the books that contain 0th century, 1st century, 2nd century, 15th century, 14th century, 10th century, 16th, every century down to this time we are. And inside the century, a century is made up of 100 years. Now, our people is trying to deliver a message. This message, if you go to science, they call it fable. And what we are doing, we are in tele, delivering usual narratives, usually imaginatives, narratives of an event, the event that we are into. Remember, we read you the contents that made up a myth. And from here, after they tell events, narratives, and other things, then you begin to tell the story. And what story are we trying to bring out? The story we are trying to bring out is this.
India used it under my summer again, and what happened? The British had to negotiate with them, because what the sit at home does is that It is a day of introspection. You stay at home, you ask yourself, what is the life I'm living here with my children in this Nigeria? Is it really okay for me? So if you think something is not right, if
So, Biafrans, now write us comment, please. Make this place look happy. When you are writing comment, we get energy. Please keep writing something. Write your own imagination. Write all hair Biafra if you don't want to crack your brain. We are cracking our brain and it has become part of our life. Now, the story is what we have had. How they used Frederick Lugard and the Flora Shaw to join you together and they called you Niger Company, owned by Britain. And most of every other powerful members inside this autopilot movement, Biafran government in exile, many of them based in abroad. And through our outcry, you see the outcry here, might and its outcry of the people. The outcry now then come in and they joined to the synonymous of might. And inside synonymous of might, we get the fable, we get the tale, and now we are inside the story. The story of what the story we are doing, what is a story? A narrative about people and the events, usually including an enterprising plot. And after the story we are telling you now, Helen Peter, I love the teaching. Thank you, Helen Peter. I like it when people are writing comments. It makes us to know that people are really enjoying what we are doing. That is the thing. Then, after the story we are telling now, what is our story? People who is here now, what is our story inside the century we are living on now? At least if you are here, tell us our story. In the simple mathematics, our story today is restoration of the kingdom of God upon this very planet Earth called Biafra. That is our story. And this story is what you can find inside the subject of might. From the subject of might, you get to the synonymous of might. And inside this synonymous of might, you get the story. We are now inside the story. And the story is usually including an interesting plots. Interesting plots. And after the story, then you get to the allegories. The allegory is a story, poem, or picture that can be interested. You understand that? This allegory is a story. You can call it a poem. Why we have shown you, uh, this is a famous history of this world. Then you call it a poem. For example, you call it a poem, you call it a picture that can be interpreted. Now, this is Ceniciente. If you read the history of this woman, the Ceniciente, then you will know when, if you go inside, this is not why I'm here, you will see how they used religious leaders, Chris Ayekinome, for example, to ransack the brain of our people. And this attitude of Christian economy is where we found mighty criticisms. They can form anything that is lie and they try to make you believe that is true. But histories that has happened, we are Igbo people. Our people used to tell us what they call storytelling. Storytelling is poem. And here it says, allegory. Allegory is a story, poem, or picture that can be interpreted. And how do we interpret this thing we are doing? Why we are standing strong, showing our faces, trying to make people know that we are fighting a just cause. How do we get it? You can also get it inside fiction. Inside fiction is something that is invented or untrue. You know, Fiction are the stories you can form. Some of people used to watch fantasies. We also read about fantasies here. We also read about fantasies, things that is untrue, imaginable stories you can pass through, where you can see some things that you know that this thing is not true. Maybe you see somebody who jumped from the sky and they fall on the ground. Nothing will happen to that person. They call it fiction. Like Spider-Man story, for example. All these ones are fictions. Then from there, if you want to understand the real details about this thing, William Nnemeka Biafra is here with a light, proudly autopilot. Thank you for joining. Oh, yeah, who is this one? Uh-huh. Our brother Jessica Frank say, Mazi, Mazi, brother Paul. It's great to know who you are. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Then we are here. Yes, you know me now. You know what I'm doing. This is how we crack our brain, and after cracking our brain, we will be directed to lay our hands inside anything and begin to bring something out of nothing. So from here, after the fiction, you come to parable. Parable is language of the Greek. And what is parable? Parable is a comparison, illustration, a analogy. That is how to describe parable. Allegory, documentary of this message. We go a lot. Songs and daughters. So this, yes, we are Biafran, we are 555 vision, Biafran gospel and the Bible. So what we are doing, when we get more time to make it look fancy and look beautiful, that is where you will get the documentary. We'll be showing the pictures of things we are talking about here. Now, we would like to read your comments, everybody here. We want you to partake. We want you to join what we are doing so we know that we are not just wasting our time. Now, inside this thing, you get the mythos. After parable, parable is ilu Igbo. And the ilu, in the Igbo says that ilu is what Igbo people used to eat words. And you have parable. This word parable came from Greek. You know, it's a Latin word. It came from Greek. Now you get the mythos. Mythos is anything transmitted by words of mouth, such as fable, legend, narrative, story, or tale, especially a pistic tale. Are you getting how the chronology now is coming down? After parable, you get mythos. After parable, you get mythos. And what is mythos? Anything transmitted by words of mouth. That is mythos. Group critical thinkers. I greet you all. 555 vision. You are wonderful. Evra. Okay. Thank you for this. You know, if you are our follower, you're supposed to be one of a critical thinking autopiloted IPOBs. We tear our brain. After tearing our brain, we will think that the world is ending. And when we are trying to see how can the world end, they will direct us to another place. And that is how we came to the myths. We continue today to the fable. And when we mean when we mean fable, fable is the story itself.
You think you have no health care, you have no security, you have no right to live your life, you have no freedom of work, you have no security for your money, you don't even have food to eat, you don't have roads to drive on, you don't have light, you don't have health care, you absolutely have nothing, and your life means nothing. A policeman can shoot you for 100 naira. It's happening every day. We are losing guys, girls, to policemen, that are mentally unstable, and the government is still employing them and send them out to get their salary from our people on the road. So that's why you are sitting at home. You are sitting at home so that our leader will come out. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu sacrificed himself.
Followers, hello chooks, hello choose, gentility. Thank you. Confirm. Carry on, sir. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Now we continue. We continue with the types of mites. We read it before and we have to repeat because people are joining. If you really enjoying how I'm noticing that you are enjoying is when you are just writing something. We know you are enjoying, and hit the like button. Advise other people. This thing we are doing, we are not professionals, but remember that the Cardinal Arinze is in Vatican. He studied all this thing. He never want to teach his own people what he can do, what they can do to be saved. Are you getting it? He never want to teach his people, what they can do to be saved. But he studied them. Are you understanding? Cardinal studied all these things. All those are our people. You people remember when communities, olden days, during 80s, our mothers will remove their money from Isuku Akwafa. They will remove their money and they contribute. They will send one person from any family. They will send the person to England to go and study. These people will come there. They will go to England and they study. They studied all these things, might. They studied the century. They studied the origin of this earth. They studied about every other powers that is controlling this universe. They studied all these things, all the mystics, all the fictions, all the functions. They studied it, but they ended up coming to serve Fulani, which we call abomination in our own history. Abomination. And since they don't want to do it, this now take us back to tell you the 4 types of mites in the world. The 4 type, number 1 is mythology. The number 2 is mythography. Number 3 is mythcriticism. Number 4 is mythos. Number 5 is mythopia. Mythopia. You can check your Google. It will give you what I pronounce, or maybe my own tongue does not pronounce it well. It is Mythopoeia. Mythopia. Then, if you want to see the types and the basic of them, you will see the 4 types of mites. There are 4 basic theories of mites. These theories are the rational might theory. The rational. You know about rational might theory. These are the way they ration your people, our land during 1914 amalgamation. 1914 amalgamation. Then they divided that place and they say Senegal is for France, Nigeria is for Britain, and Guinea Equatoria is for Spain, and some other place is for Portugal, like Guinea-Bissau is for Portugal. Rational theories. Rational. They rationalize it. They call it rational theory. And after rational theory, you come to the functional mimetic theory. This function is now what Nnamdi Kanu have started, what Simon Ekpa is now doing, carrying this message along. Are you getting it? Because now, and we can also preach this thing all together in our own favor. But in as much as our people did not register their own history, we will be bringing it from the people who took away our history. They took away the history of Amadioha. They took away the history of Ezebilago. They took away the history of Eki Demmiri. They took away the history of our ancient deities. Ancient deities. They took it away, but they came to Europe. They came to Europe, then they begin to show their own children. For example, here, many people who is here now, tell me if you ever watch cartoon and wind back your brain to the story of Amadioha. Wind back your brain to the story of Eki Demmiri. Wind back your brain to the story of those deities olden days. Wind back your brain to understand the power that make Igbo people to be naming their children Ogbuagu, for example. Ogbuagu. If you turn back your brain, connect your brain to ancient history, which Europeans are using to show their children how it was millions of years back. They write it in cartoon and they begin to teach their children on things they should know. You understand? And that is the functional mystic theory. Write us comment. The functional mystic theory. And after functional mystic theory, you come to the structural mystic theory. The structure. If you see the structure of Biafra, for example, you can get it from the map of Biafra, how it was structured. And the reason our leader Mazen Nandekano say, we will build Biafra for 75 good years, no stop. You know, and the Biafran land will look like the Switzerland. If you go to Geneva, for example, in Switzerland, very, very beautiful. If you go to Zurich, for example, very, very beautiful, and the other parts of the Switzerland. Imagining how Biafra will be in order for Switzerland to become like a village. You know that in New York, where you see all those sky clippers, is somebody's village. And this sit at home, do you know what we are getting from this sit at home? The image of Biafran land. They are showing you how dirty it is. And we are recording and keeping all those history, how it was. When Biafra come, after 75 years, our upcoming generation will see the image of Biafran land, how it was when we are when we are applying the fable story. And what do we tell you that fable is? Fable is a narrative intended to enforce a useful truth. That is, everything you see Nnamdi Kanu doing is called fable. Everything you see Simon Ekpa doing is called fable. Everything you see Umuada doing is called fable. Everything you see media team doing is called fable. Everything you see Biafran government in exile doing is called fable. And what is fable? Fable is a narration intended to enforce a useful truth to the public. Are you getting it now? Now, we are into the structural mystic theory. And after this structural mystic theory, then we come to the physiological part of it. The physiological mystic theory is where we are. When you are able to get your own brain intact, you will be able to return back and fight against the might criticism. These might criticisms are the people, you can find them, they are the people working with the Fulanese. And which are the people working with the Fulanese? They are the Ohaneze Ndi Igbo. They are the Eastern elites. They are the DOS, and these accountabilities, they don't even know where they belong and the things they are doing. So we go back to the story itself for you to know.
Everything. So if you sit at home and he's released and you get your freedom, it is good for you. It is good for all of us. So on a final note, I want also to remind all Biafran mothers, girls, fathers, brothers, I want you to remember that there is an English adage that says once beaten, twice shy. Remember in the last genocide of 1967 to 70, remember Nigeria perfectly implemented a weapon for war using
A Libra, Eastern governors from local government to Saint. They are the people you can find inside might criticism. Now, this is our sister. These are doctors. All these people you see are doctors in England, though. These are doctors in America. These are doctors which you know that British government count on them on a daily basis. The people you found inside the Biafran government in exile, many of them don't want to show their faces. There are the people working under CIA. They are lawmakers and the different kind of people. And this our sister now is telling you everything you should know, that we are not committing any crime. It is on your own benefit that you caution your people at home to sit at home, because number one, they have destroyed everything you have in Lagos. They have destroyed everything you have in Abuja. Then, this is onye ajụrụ ajụ ada ajụ onwe ya. A person who is rejected cannot reject himself. And you have no option. And since we have no option, our own is to make sure that we enter into the physiological part of the theory to make sure we battle with these people, might criticisms, the people who can peddle lies against their own brothers, and they try to force you to believe their lies when you know that you are still riding on the right track. Then we continue here, and when we say about this mythology, a collection of might, especially one belonging to a particular religion. That is where you will see mythology. Bethel Azubike, thank you for joining. Then, this mythology here is a collection of might. Collection of might. This is very, very deep that everybody should know. Mythology. Vocabulary is another language of parable. Parable is another language of ilu. Ilu can be Igbo. When you want to speak long, or when you want to avoid of speaking long sentence, you form it and it will become a vocabulary. You blow it out. It will be ended in memorandum and the memorandum and the kale. You know what we are talking about. Then when you see when English begin to go g, le, dum, that is when you will begin to know atobo to. You understand now? When we are joking, leave this thing. Then now it is going to g. Then they call it methodology. And the methodology is where everything guided. Methodology is a collection of might, especially one belonging to a particular religion or culture, tradition. Mythology is leading with the gods and the heroes of a particular people. You understand? Mythology is dealing with the gods. I wish I can show you the mythology of the gods of ancient days. Ancient days. You can get it from the Egyptian ancient arts, methodologies. Then from here, they say it's dealing with the gods and the heroes of a particular people. Dealing with the gods, with the heroes of a particular people. Now, which people are the gods, heroes of the particular people? That's why we say that every one of us should learn how to validate those things they're called deities in Igbo land. There are deities in Igbo land. This is the origin of your history. And according to geography, the misguided geography of this life, they say that they want our people in Nigeria, in Africa, to know how to read and how to write, but not to know how to ask a question. But not to know how to ask question or how to think. That's why when they tell you to go and demote the power of your ancestors, you will see the reverend fathers. They will jump out. There is one we saw. He went and they cut ancient trees. And after cutting ancient trees, he stand on top of that ancient tree and he raised his hand that he has defeated the demon. He is fighting with a tree, and the adage says only a tree head that is going to die, and he refuses to run. It is only a tree that can do that. Then in Europe here, in America, they preserved all their ancient trees. They preserved all their goddess. They preserved all they have that will lead their own people to find out their real origin. They departed and they removed their people out of all these things. Then Europe preserved their own. They told Africa through missionary journey, you have to demote all those your gods. Some of our gods and the mask, they picked them up and built a fantastic reserved museum all over Europe. And one thing is, many of our people living in America, living in Europe, living in Canada, Australia, they don't travel and they don't normally go on visiting ancient preserved histories. How do many of our Biafran people live in Europe? Many of them, they concentrated in going to church every day, reading Bible, reading Bible, and the pastor will tell them, keep on revising your Bible. And you see people of 5 years, 6 years, all of them can cram Bible quotation inside their brain, but they don't really know what it means. A pastor will be preaching inside church, he will use quotation and finish every other person. And that is where you will get fiction and the fallacies. Fictions and the fallacies is you are doing something, you are expecting a different result every now and then, every minute of the day. Doing something, expecting a different result, but you are recycling the brain of the people with the King James Version, why King James Version is designed to take away your brain. Now, you keep on reading one Bible without extending your knowledge to other people. That is how we come to ask a critical question. Then we went and get Quran. You see it? This is Quran. This is Quran, eh? This is Quran. We read Quran also to know how Fulanis, how Muslim people think, because all of them read their Quran. Now we have read our Bible, we have read the Quran, and after reading Quran, after reading Bible, we come to ask critical questions. After asking these critical questions and things that has been happening in this world, then we get to this book, The Brave History of 21st Century, which you know that you cannot do without connecting back to the dots, connecting back to the story, connecting back. Everything has been written. Here you will see Gandhi, you will see a lot of all these famous people that keep history. You will see the history of apartheid of Nelson Mandela. It is here. Everything is here. And how do you get this? You get it inside mythology. The mythology, the mythology, especially one belonging to a particular religion or culture, tradition. Mythology is dealing with the gods, with the gods. Ihe a ọkwa ndị ọcha dere ya, ndị ọcha write this thing. So if understanding and recognizing all the deities you have in your village is a sin, and you know that Britain are the people who wrote the Bible and they bring down to you and they tell you that your own is evil, why did they call it gods? And why did they register their own? You understand what we are talking about? Romolo Ramio in Italy is one of the example. The gods of Italy. Romolo Ramio. The gods of Italy, one of the very first deity of Rome is Romolo Ramio. If I can bring it out here, I will show you. I don't know if my internet will let me know. Now, we are here. They tell you about gods, heroes of a particular people. Heroes of a particular people. Now, inside these heroes of a particular people, that is where we come to tell you Nnamdi Kanu is running the race of becoming a hero. Simon Ekpa is running the race of becoming a hero. Ojukwu is a hero. You understand now? Now, we all are joining them for them to fulfill their ideologies, for them to really understand that we are
hunger. They used hunger as a weapon. They used hunger as a weapon. The children developed kwashiorkor. So we cannot sit down, or even though we are not going into war with them, but this should be a trigger for everybody to go into farming. If you have a little parcel of land behind your house, please plant cassava, plant cocoyam, plant corn, plant vegetables, plant pepper, plant tomatoes. We must not depend on tomatoes and things coming from the north.
preparation of mindset. Preparation of mindset. Are you going to say that nobody have told you? If these people can use starvation to destroy you, to kill your children, to kill our people, why do you think they are going to spare you now? That is what OMADA stands for. Delivering the message. Delivering the message. So I want us to listen to this our able sister. Then we will try to bring out some of these things.
Because what if tomorrow, when they know, because they know Biafra is coming, they say, no, we are not bringing it again. What are you going to do? So it's important that you farm, okay? Let all our villages, all the village markets, let us start getting pictures of the fresh food that are in the market. We're going to tweet it. We're going to share it, and we'll be very proud of you guys. Finally, I want to end my speech by saying that Nigeria is practicing tyranny. And wise people will question tyranny. You do not respect tyranny. You question it, you resist it, you fight it, and you refuse it until they give us referendum. Thank you, all Biafrans. Thank you, all our gallant men. You guys are blessed. You have to defend your fatherland because you have no other place to go. You cannot allow people from the Sahel, whom desert has taken over their place because of what farmer they are committing with animals. So everywhere the Fulani come, desert will follow. We live in the rainforest, and we are not going to surrender our land to any foreigner.
You hear it? Fulanis. You know, go and check the story of the Fulanis. Anywhere they cross, that place will become a desert. Check from Futajelo, check from Sahel. All the places you find the Fulani, all those places are desert. Anywhere you see Fulani, any place the Fulanis pass, that place will be, number one, it will be depopulated, and that place will become a desert. Nnamdi Kanu referred the Fulanis as a virus in a human form. That is how he referred. Do you know, people know that human being can be a virus? You know, he referred the Fulanis as virus in a human form. So you people have heard it, that it is a tyranny. Now we have to move a little. We have to move a little for more of our things we have to show. Let us begin to show you the images, little images of mythology. Biafrans, are you here? Images of mythology. Are you here? Write us something. If this kind of image is new in your eyes, let us know. But if it is not new in your eyes, write us some comment. We are in another chapter, and in 15 minutes we have to close, so it will be easy for any other person that would like to watch later to know what we are doing. Dear friends, write me a comment here. You see these are the images. Right on, Odogu Bernard. Hey, my big brother. Hey, my big brother, thank you. Now, these are the images of mythology. The images of mythology. If you watch down here, this is what they call the colossus. This is what they call the colossus. These are the mighties, the mythologies, and these are deities and the heroes. When we are telling you concerning the gods, of a particular people, when we are telling you concerning the gods of a particular people, that is Evra. Exactly that. Let me see. Evra. Exactly. That is the reason why British, using the virus called Fulani, advised the indigenous people of Biafra. Yes, because the Fulanis are human being in a virus in a human form. The way you have virus as a sickness, that is exactly how you have virus in human being. Don't you know? Now, this they say is mythology is dealing with the gods and the heroes of a people, of a particular people. All these things, if you read the ancient history of the Greece, this person you see with that thing, these are the colossus. The colossus existed during the time of Dinosaurius, and the colossus has 20 meters high. It's a human being with 20 meters high. They are like a two-story building. Giant. If you want to doubt, you will ask the people who built the wall of Jericho, the kind of block and the stones being used to build the wall of Jericho. Then you can ask yourself, which human being can uplift such gigantic stones? And those days, all these sophisticated lifting machines is not in existence. The people who used to build those Jericho, like Egypt, when you go to Egypt and see the craft of Egypt, all those mighty stones, the people they used to build it is called the Colossus. And these colossus are, their height is as 20 meters long, 25 meters long, 30 meters in height. Two-story building, three-story building, human being, ancient human being. And you can also go back to Bible. Ozamaka Nicholas, good evening. Thank you, Machineke. Then if you go to Bible, you will see when God says that he sended angels from heaven, and those angels are giants. Is it not true? People who is here, have you heard about when God sent angels to the earth and they were called giants? And those giants, they saw women on the planet and they slept with them. When they slept with those women, they gave birth to colossus. How many people knows this? How many people knows this? Uzamaka, you know it. Uzamaka Nicholas, you know about the colossus and how they come to existence when God sent angels from heaven. You know, one thing very, very crucial and very, very interesting is even the way science are trying to challenge if there is God or there is no God. Finally, they will still tell you that inside the Bible, God says that he pushed angels from heaven, giants, and when they entered this life, then they met with women's and they slept with those women. Those women are the people that gave birth to these people they call the colossus. Yeah, Ozamaka is telling me yes. They are the people that gave birth to the people that is called colossus. And they says, and inside this place, there are mythology is dealing with the gods and the heroes of a particular people. Now, if you want to get it clear, you will come back here. If you come back here, you will see the picture of Hercules. Let me know if I can get another a better image. I want to know if I will get a better image. Okay, let me follow this one. Let me take this one. How many people knows about this? Do you know about this image? You know about this image? If you study this image, then you go back to the book of Ezekiel. If you go back to the book of Ezekiel, all this you see here are structures that has existed in this world. All these things has existed. All these things has existed long time ago, and that's why they tell you that this place. Then they say, what is a century? They say a century is the date, is its date, its date and time, its people, its event, its mate, and its outcry. Now we show you all these images are things that has existed before, and here you can see when they begin to modelize them. You see when they begin to modelize them and they begin to bring them to our own understanding, but our religious leaders are really not allowing Christians in Nigeria to really understand how our brain has been rough-handed. If religious leaders they can begin to teach their people what happened during zero centitude, 0th century, 1st century, 2nd century, 5th century, 10th century, they will be telling you the power of Amadioha and all these things, and why we are telling you they used Christianity to demote the power of our ancestors. And here we still go and show some of the images, and here Here you see the person that went to moon for the first time. How with the power of their ancestors and the power of our ancestors, which they pick up from Biafran land, they were able to get knowledge and went to moon. And all this thing we are showing, we are not showing it because you never know it. We are showing it because you never give value to them. You never give value to them. And here are some of the things they told you that is evil. They told you that is evil. I think we have just shown you some places where they are teaching their own children in cartoon. This thing you see here now, cartoon, and what you see in this image, is it the same? But these are what Europeans used to teach their own children how it was olden days. Then when they are growing, their own future, they will be focusing on future because they already know what happened at back behind them. They are able to know what happened before. They grow up with this. But our people, our pastors, that is giving people unadulterated education, they will tell you that don't mind those people, that what they are practicing is evil. And the same people who is telling you that they are evil are still dancing in the tones of the Fulanis and also in the tones of their conquerors. Let us know if we can bring something more. You know about this? You know about this? Look at it. You may be seeing this. You may be seeing this, but you may not know what it means. These are inside what we found inside the methodologies. If you go inside methodologies, you will see all these things and you will know them by your own. You know, you give your own self the kind of understanding you want to give yourself. So, dear friends, we want to bring them down. Then, if you want to understand, you go to the book of Ezekiel. For example, the pastors agreed to preach the book of Ezekiel. Then, the book of Ezekiel, God asked Ezekiel when he was on the river bank. He said, Ezekiel, what do you see? What structure do you see? And Ezekiel say that he see a structure with 7 heads. Those structure with 7 heads, these are where you can be able to be founding all those things, and they memorize on them in the Europe here, begin to show their children's things they should know and the things they should not know. All these things are creatures that has existed on this planet Earth. Why is it they are not showing our people? Why is it they are not letting our people get some knowledge, some critical knowledges they're supposed to get, things they should impact inside the life of our people? Why are they not doing it? And that is how we are coming to to end of the program today. We are bringing it. We want to stop in 1 hour 30 minutes. Advise some of your brothers at home, they should join the teachings of 555 Vision. And why do we come today? Let us refresh. Our refreshment is that we came to teach concerning the might, the type of mights controlling this universe. And inside this might, you can see some of the mythologies. And the mythologies, you can also see we have already told you the meaning of mythography. We told you the functions of mythocriticism. We told you about the mythos. We also told you about mythopies. We read the functions of all of them. We also told you about the syndromes of might. They are the legend, they are the fable, the tale, the story, the allegory, the fiction, and the parable. And if you want to know more about all these ones, there are more than 30 of them. The synonymous of might. So, Biafrans all over the world, if you have enjoyed what we had today, we were telling you goodbye for now. Today, we will be having our fundraising, which is the first of all, the first chronology of our freedom. The first chronology of our freedom is try to make history for yourself. Try to make history for yourself. This is the brief history of 21st century. And as time goes by, we will be going inside them and chatting with you. So if people want to join us in this chat also, write us. We have Sonny, we have Ozamaka, and many of them. If you want to be joining our program live, tell us so that we can be able to be creating some spaces that people will be joining our program. And if you want to join, you have to go inside book. Go inside book, whether through Google or through Wikipedia. Go inside book. Tear out those history because everything is written there. You tell your people things they should know. You understand? Why we are waiting for fundraising of today, we say goodbye for now. We may return again before fundraising or we may not return again. Thank you, lovers of